looking good. So listen, I just want to thank you for what you do, and I want to now introduce the person who's been interning my office this year, and again, he's just a great guy, has real insights into what's happening in Ireland and also in the United States. He's one of these guys, he follows me around when I speak, and I can tell by the look on his face, he agrees with this, doesn't agree with that, or what the hell is this guy talking about? You know? But he does it in a polite way anyway, which is different from my Irish fellows who just tell me I'm a moron. But anyway, with that, let me introduce to all of you. I'm sure you know him, but give him a chance to say a few words and to show you that not everyone acts like Marty. Neill Rogers.
Thank you, Congressman King. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honour for me to speak here before you at this, the 11th Annual Washington, Ireland Congressional Forum. My name is Neill Rogers, and I'm a recent law graduate of Queen's University in Belfast. As Congressman King was explaining, I'm now into my 3rd week of working in his office, and I'm particularly pleased to welcome here this evening some of my colleagues from Congressman King's office, and they're right here to my left. So thanks very much for coming. I was born on the island town of Enniskillen in the beautiful Lakeland county of Fermanagh. That's Fermanagh, not Fermanagh.
Talking about accents.
My family were quite political when I was growing up, and my own political views were heavily influenced by my parents. They have been lifelong members of the SDLP, the Moderate Nationalist Party, and my mother Patricia has been an elected SDLP representative to the Fermanagh District Council since 2005. It was through my parents' involvement in the SDLP that I came to admire people such as John Hume, Seamus Mallon and Austin Curry, politicians of great honesty, integrity and vision. As leader of the SDLP, Hume used to speak endlessly about how the unity of peoples should trump the unity of territories. This change in nationalist thinking can now be traced to the principle of consent, one of the most important tenets of the Good Friday Agreement. John Hume's influence has therefore brought me to the conclusion that the greatest challenge facing my generation is the eradication of sectarianism and the breaking down of the barriers that have prevented both communities from coming together. It is my belief that by starting to bring about change in our local communities, we can begin the process of bringing our people closer together. This process will not be easy. It will require everyone in our community to challenge age-old stereotypes and deep-seated animosities. However, there are already signs that progress is being made. So let me provide you with a personal example. In the village of Tempo, that's Tempo, the place where I grew up, there are 3 brass bands, which when you think about it is quite a remarkable thing. 2 of the bands are Protestant bands. I play for the Catholic band, and it's called St Mary's Silver. One of the founding members of St Mary's back in 1911 was my own great-grandfather, Barney Rogers. And today, 7 members of my family play in the band. That includes myself, my 2 brothers, my sister, my father, and 2 of my uncles. Now, when people think about marching bands in Northern Ireland, they usually conjure up images of the 12th of July and orange men in bowler hats. The band that I belong to, however, is one of the few Catholic marching bands in Northern Ireland, and it can trace its roots to the ancient order of Hibernians. Within the last 12 months, the Catholic band and one of the Protestant bands called Ballyrea Silver have agreed to team up together in order to secure cross-community funding. In a short space of time, they have formed a joint music class to provide tuition for the youth of the community, and both bands marched together in the recent St Patrick's Day parade. Now, to the outsider, this might not sound like such a big deal, but let me assure you, this would have been unthinkable, indeed impossible, until recently. The election of Bobby Sands, an IRA hunger striker, as a Member of Parliament for Fermanagh in 1981, and the Enniskillen bomb in 1987, which killed 11 innocent civilians, are just two examples out of the many that served to drive our communities apart and made it impossible for both bands to form any type of meaningful partnership. Thanks to the peace process, however, times have changed. Thanks to the tireless work of American leaders such as the late Senator Ted Kennedy, Congressman King, and President Bill Clinton, a Protestant band and a Catholic band in a small County Fermanagh village are at last beginning to engage with one another. For those of us like myself who aspire towards Irish unity, perhaps we should try and concentrate our efforts first on building a united Northern Ireland. We should follow the lead of Hume and strive towards the unity of all the people of Northern Ireland, Protestant, Catholic and Dissenter. You might think I'm naive, you may even call me a dreamer, but I prefer to take solace in the words of Robert Kennedy when he said, "Some men see things as they are and say why. I dream of things that never were and say why not." Building up community relations, breaking down the barriers of division, eradicating the evils of sectarianism, these should be the ideals that all true Irish men and women should work towards. These are the big issues of our time, and it has fallen on our generation to step up to the challenge. And just finally, you don't need me to tell you that there are no easy answers. There are no quick fix solutions to these many problems. But I am confident that this year's Washington Ireland programme, class of 2010, possesses the capacity, the vision and the drive to tackle these problems head on and play their part in building a new and agreed Ireland. Thank you for listening.